Hi, I'm Danny with etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Solera RV slide-out awning on our 2016 Fleetwood Bounder. Awnings are a great addition to an RV, and our neighbor today actually just bought this, and the first thing he did was having these new awnings put on because they prevent debris from getting on top of there, and they'll actually help with temperature control inside so the sun's not beating down on your box. If you're taking your RV to some campsites, chances are you're going to get a lot of debris up on this box here, like sticks, branches, and when it rains, water. So you don't want all that to go back into your RV when you close this up when you're leaving the campsite. And most of the time, you don't want to get up here on a ladder to blow this off with a blower or sweep it off because a lot of times you don't have an area to store this giant ladder. So having this is a great way to keep that rain from getting inside your motorhome and the debris off of it as well. Chances are you're not going to want to bring a big ladder with you to clean this off every time there gets debris on here, especially when you're leaving the campsite early in the morning. So getting an awning will prevent that hassle and protect your box from the elements. These awnings come in black and white. Now our neighbor today got the black because it matches some of the other accents on his motorhome, but a white one would reflect the sun a little better. But either one will cool down your box and will prevent you from having to run your AC constantly. What we've been looking at has been the 157-inch awning, but earlier today we did install a 91-inch awning as well. Now they're both going to install exactly the same way and have the same features. As far as the install goes, you will need at least 2 other people to help you, especially for those longer awnings. You're also going to need at least 3 ladders. So if you don't have the manpower or the tools, then please feel free to check out our dealer locator. We can find a professional in your area to do this for you. But if you're ready to get these installed, follow along and I'll show you how to do it. To start off, we're going to want to make sure we have the correct size slide toppers. So I'm going to show you how to measure your box to make sure you purchase the right one. So I'm going to get this measurement from the trim piece all the way to the end of the trim piece on our box here. And we got a measurement of 153 inches. Now I'll go ahead and measure the slide topper itself. Now I'm going to measure just the fabric part and not the actual hardware, and this will be the measurement on the website as well. So this is a 157.5 inches, so it looks like we're all good. And another thing to keep in mind is if there's anything up there that's near these. So if you have a awning, then you're going to want at least 7 inches between the end cap here and that awning. Now if there's another slide topper, 2 next to each other, then you're going to want 14 inches. And if you don't have that, then you're going to have to go down a size. Before we get into it, something to keep in mind is you are going to need some butyl tape. It doesn't come in the kit, but we do have it here at etrailer, and you're also going to need some silicone caulking, especially if you're taking old ones off like we are today. This kit does come with a awning rail and hardware to put this on. Now, our motorhome today already has this installed, so we won't be using it. But something to keep in mind when you do install this is you want this C channel to be minimum of 3 inches, maximum of 6 inches between the middle of the C channel and the middle of your roll. Before we get up on the ladders, we're going to do some prep work here. I got my access plate, and I'm going to put some butyl tape on the back of this. I'm trying to center it as much as possible. And I'll take some scissors and get that cut off. I'm going to get the extension bar, put this on the end cap, and it comes with a self-tapping bolt. It's just a Phillips head. I'm going to get this secured. I'm going to do this on both ends. I got the access plate here, and usually we put them in the top corner, butting up against these 2 trim pieces. But since the C channel was already installed, that's going to be too close. So we're going to have to move this down. So we actually already installed one on this motorhome, so we know I'm going to do it right below the actual existing hardware that was for the old awning. I'm going to measure down from the edge, the top edge, to the bottom edge of the trim, and that's going to be about 2 3/4. Now I'll go ahead and take this butyl tape backing off and get this stuck on. But you want to make sure that the metal extrusion is going to be facing up towards the sky when you get this stuck on. And I will be going all the way left with this touching this trim piece. I'm going to go right under these existing screws. Just going to lightly put it on there for now, and then get a couple measurements. Once I got it at 2 3/4 on either side, I'm going to press firmly, make sure it's sticking nice. And now I can get the hardware in. I got the self-tapping screw that comes in the kit, and it is countersunk. You're going to need a number 10 square head bit to get this drove in. So I will get my first one started. Now I'm going to remeasure to make sure it did not move. Looking good on this side. And go on that side. So now I'm going to get one on the other side and get it held in place. And when you're done screwing them all in, you want to make sure that all the heads are completely flush, because when we slide in our other bracket, we don't want that to hang it up. Now that we have those access plates installed, you're going to want to remove the gutter end cap here. So above the C-channel is going to be a rain gutter, and this is just going to be the end cap, and just a simple bolt in there, and I cut away the caulking. And we already had to do this to get the other awning removed, but we're going to need to do this so we can slide the awning into our C-channel. Something that might make this a little easier is we're going to move this box about 6 inches out, so we have a little shelf up top that we can set our roll on when we're putting this on. Now we can put our slide topper into place. It's good to have 3 people for these longer ones and a couple of extra ladders, but we'll go ahead and get this lifted up, and I'll slide this into the C-channel. Okay. With an extra set of hands still helping me, Joe's on the other end of the ladder here. We're going to rotate this down. We're going to get our bracket, slide this on, and there are 2 different sets of holes. I will be using the top one, and I'll go ahead and get this slid on to our access plate. And it might make it a little easier to take some tension off the roll, so you can slide this on just a little easier. We need to get this centered, so the easiest way to do that is to measure from our access bracket to the end of our arm here. And it's looking like I need to go towards the front of the vehicle, so I just use a rubber mallet, make sure this plate stays where it's at, and just get this tapped to the front. And you want to keep doing that until you have the same measurement on both sides. And if this is proving difficult to move back and forth, you can always remove tension by rotating up on your awning here, and it'll make it a little easier. The kit comes with these tiny set screws, and you're going to want to put these in the access bracket. I'm going to get these started. To get them started, I'm going to tighten them down with an 1/8 inch Allen key. And I am using an electric ratchet, but I'm going really light with it. You don't want to bear down on this, but it will go a lot further than you think. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down until it's nice and snug. So that is about 1/8 to 3/16 deep in that recess. And like I said earlier, there are 2 channels, 2 sets of channels where you can set this bracket to be higher or lower. Right now we have it on the upper channel, so that's why we put the set screw in the upper hole. But if you had this on the lower, you would of course put this on the lower hole. Once those are tight, we can now put in our self-tapping screw. I'm using a 5/16 bit. And I'm going to get these in this arm here. I do that, I'll make sure to do this on the other side as well. On each side, there's gonna be a clip that looks like this, and you're gonna wanna remove both of these. I got some pliers here. I'm gonna relieve some tension just like we did earlier by pulling up on it. And just like that, you can get this removed. Now you're definitely gonna wanna hang on to this clip, because if you're ever doing maintenance on this, or more often than not, this fabric's gonna wear out and you're gonna wanna replace it down the road, then you can keep this clip and put that back in there so it doesn't unspool. With our hardware tightened and our clips removed on both sides, we can now go ahead and extend the box out, and do that a couple of times just to make sure everything's square and there's no major wrinkles. We are ready to secure the fabric to our awning rail. Now the kit does come with this self-tapper to do that, but I did get some other ones that are a bit longer because this wouldn't quite fit down in the C-channel with the bit we had to use and wasn't quite long enough. I did experience a bit of wrinkles in this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my self-tapper in this side, and I wanna go about 1 inch from the outside of our fabric. And now I'll go to that side and pull it as hard as I can to get all the wrinkles out, and do the same thing on that side. And we got this all tightened down. It's nice to have someone on the other end pulling it while you get that set screw in, just to make it sure you don't have a ton of wrinkles. But lastly, I'll go ahead and get some silicone and get this cover plate on our bracket. We can put our gutter cap back on and silicone this back in. So I'm actually gonna use silicone and put it in that screw hole first. Which a generous amount in there. And then I'll get this screwed back in. Now I'll go ahead and silicone all the seams as well as the head of the screw, and I'm just going to smooth it out and clean it up with a rag if I need to. Another thing I like to do, which is totally optional, is I get a paint marker and I'll just cover these silver bolts here. This will look a little better and it will prevent rust. So I'll go ahead and do this on both sides. And once you slid this on, you're ready to start using your Solera topper. And if you have any further questions about maybe what size you need for your specific box, then please feel free to reach out to us at etrailer. But other than that, that was a look at the Solera slider awning on our 2016 Fleetwood Bounder.